to Tech Converse. My name is Emmanuela Kosiso, and today in the studio we are going to talk about Enugu Tech ecosystem. But before we start, I have important guests with me in the studio, and I would like to introduce them to you before we begin the topic. So first of all, I would like to introduce Engineer Chukwudi Edoga, a software engineer and the founder of Digital Dreams Limited. So he's the CEO of Digital Dreams Limited. Mr. Chooks, you're welcome.
Wow, it's a lovely day. How are you doing, Jay?
I'm fine, sir. Thank you so much for coming. So the next person that is here with me in the studio is Mr. Tochi Gabriel, aka T-Boy. Mr. T-Boy is the co-founder, Afro Hives, and also the co-lead, Google Developers Group, also known as GDG. Mr. Tochi, you're welcome. All right, let's get into the topic for today. Like I said earlier, we're going to discuss about Enugu Tech ecosystem. And for a start, we're going to find out the history about the Enugu Tech ecosystem. What do we need to know about it? How did it start? What are the histories and informations and stories behind it? So I would like to ask you, Mr. Chooks Edoga, please give us a history about Enugu Tech ecosystem.
I think there's one thing you are missing.
Okay.
You haven't called this guy the Jedi.
Oh.
We call this guy the Jedi. If you have watched Sky Wars, you know about the Jedi.
Okay.
That's the warriors. The guy is actually made to you. So in Enugu Tech ecosystem,
Okay.
T-Boy is the Jedi. And he has an award for that. I'm not saying officially he is the Jedi of Enugu Tech ecosystem. So that brings me to how the history of the ecosystem. T-Boy.
Yeah.
Can we even say about the ecosystem without mentioning T-Boy?
We can. Okay, so if we do the history, how far back? How
It
far?
depends on where we want to start.
Okay,
Right?
so
If we start from Professor Robinson
yes,
and that's with tech,
yes.
maybe there is no T-Boy then.
No,
Never
T-Boy.
mind.
Never mind.
Never
I'll let the
mind.
picture there. Yeah. Okay. I think even the Civil War should be the first ecosystem.
Yes.
That one. Yeah.
If you look at the Civil War and the first ecosystem, on the guys who were creating Ogunigwe,
Yes, that's
the guys who
right.
were creating different technologies that were using in fighting the war.
Yeah.
Then you now move to after the war.
That is Robinson.
Then
set.
when the guys that actually created the war equipment, we are
Yes.
moved
Product.
to product.
Yes.
And after that, Professor Mobinson
Robinson.
was the first person who actually started assembling computer here in Enugu.
Yeah.
In ASUTech, then that is Enugu State University of Science and Technology. So, if you should be going back, you see that Enugu has always been in the technology space all through this while. It's not like it's not a new thing.
No, it's not.
That's interesting.
If it's in Igbo, it's not Aja tech.
Yeah.
We have even tech in Igbo. Igbo tech is an Igbo word in Kanozo. So
Yeah.
So the guys who did Obudiwe will be saying who will say are the first guys, are the first like
Yeah. Because I think what happened then was different disciplines came together to support the war effort. So I think that's what you call the first real ecosystem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because somebody from engineering, somebody from mechanical, chemistry. Yeah, I think that was the first real one.
And so if you move it up from there, I think maybe if you are looking back in history, the next place we should land is the works of the likes of
Ugoeze, yeah,
Atlantis Research
Atlantis
Center.
Research Center, yeah.
Atlantis Research Center are the place where I think I would say the person who taught me coding
Yeah.
was working in Atlantis Research Center. So you can imagine that.
You can imagine, yeah. And it's funny, I think most people, I think Chukwemeka people, someone was telling me he had friends, they were all part of Atlantis there.
Yes, Atlantis was the center of tech in the 90s to 2000, early 2000.
Yeah.
And what Ugoeze did was they recruited almost all the first class guys in UNN to Atlantis, and they put them into projects. They were the first people who started coding in C++, writing Java programs, doing AutoCAD, and drawing up computer. They are the first person who started working with the CNC machines, the computer numeric machines,
yes.
and they could program it then. And they were also the group that actually did this syslog
Yes, Syslog. Yeah,
this Syslog. Syslog was a program then written in C++, and it could lock your whole PC.
Yeah.
And it blocks your if you just press lock, it locks your whole PC. No information can come in, no information can go out.
Yeah.
You can't even plug in a printer and print from that PC if this lock was working. And in 2000, people were flying from New York to Enugu to come and see their application. No jokes.
Yeah.
No jokes. They were also the first people who started installing satellite connections, ISPs, visitor systems for cyber cafe. So the cyber cafe boom, Enugu tech ecosystem in the whole side of this was at the heart of it.
Yeah.
Because the Atlantic Research Center were the people who are actually handling that. And they did a whole lot in developing the whole ecosystem. So that's the, I think we are progressing.
Coming down, yeah.
So that was like early 2000, 2001 to 2005 and things like that. Then I would say we now moved to like 2008, 9.
Is that 8, 9 or 10 or so?
2008, 9, I think there were much going on, but the ecosystem was not galvanized as much
then, yeah.
Because once with technology, things keep changing.
Yes.
So the web now took over.
Yeah.
Things started moving towards now. The web became the new trend.
Yeah.
Then I think in 2012, right?
Yeah, around 12. 12, 13.
That's when the GDG Enugu was formed.
Founded, yeah.
That was, GDG was formed, it was 12.
Yeah, sure.
And Mr. Chinedu Chikwelu
yes, brought it
down to Enugu. And they formed the first
GDG meetup.
Yes.
Yeah, you had the first GDG meetup about that same time.
Yes, the first GDG was in New Haven.
Yeah, it was in New Haven.
And that time there was the boot camp on mobile.
Yes.
If you remember. And Enugu did so well, Enugu Tech GDG did so well that in 2014 Google conference,
yes,
Enugu was Chinedu Chikwelu spoke and they highlighted Enugu's progress.
Okay.
So Enugu was the one of the best performing GDG in the whole of West Africa.
That's very
yes.
And the GDG continues then. I think in 2017, in 2016, I formed the Digital Dreams Developers Meetup.
Yes.
And
D3M.
So D3M was a community of developers then. Then in 2018, we all morphed together to GDG.
Yes.
So that we now had only one single community.
Yeah.
So every GDG became the pioneering community for alt tech. And it's continued progressing that way. And in 2018,
yeah, we had a
first mass class.
Yeah, first mass class 2018.
Yes.
We had the biggest there first so far.
Yes.
Yes, a year before, 2018 was the 3rd edition of Ignite.
Yes, and Genesis Ignite now happened.
Yeah.
Genesis Ignite was also very massive.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think the 2018 version, M.I. Ebaga
came.
Yes. And Genesis was also very instrumental because the one is not only about the conference, but it also offered seed funding to startups.
Yeah.
So it's really started the whole
this modern era we're in now.
Then and also within that same era, Startup Enugu started.
Also, yes.
In 2018. And the first Startup Enugu was held in 2018. That's Digital Dreams.
Yes.
And the next in 2019 was held in the Base Landmark Base Investment Bank.
Yeah.
And also 2019, the Google Business Group also now entered.
Yes.
So these are different activities that we are galvanizing the whole ecosystem. 2020, that's the year of the COVID.
And COVID happened. No, a lot happened. A lot happened because I think we have a new community now around Polygon, build space. This was the Web3 space
exploded
from
after
2020. Yeah. It's given to this newer, younger sets. Yeah.
So you now have a whole lot of young people who are now into the Web3 space, the Web3 space. And I think one of the things I also keep going on is that one of the things that I highlight about the ecosystem is the collaboration that always have happened. There is Digital Dreams, there is Genesis, there is Binary Hills, Greenage, there's Sparks Consults, and different elements, different persons, different key players in the ecosystem actually comes together and keep collaborating as much as possible. And I think maybe 2022 we now have AI movement.
Movement. So almost every year there's a new introduction to the space. It's always like that.
So these are like what we call the ecosystem accelerators. We are not counting also the number of startups that keep springing up within that space. It's uncountable. If we should be, but the last startup blink check, Enugu has up to 16 startups registered. Right. That are doing well, that are already active. And there's also the other ones budding up and coming up.
So it's been a wonderful ride so far in the past 10 years. Coming from the fact that we used to be in a room for like 5 guys, right? And today, if we can have 2 meetups at the same time in this state and packed. This hall is packed. This hall is packed. I'm telling you, but this is about when we first started. We were like how many of us in the first mass class we were how many even. So but today we are happy what has happened. And what, like I said earlier, when technology changes, it brings a new idea. I think when the web became big, everything became big. And immediately the Web3 boom also happened. A new generation, this new surge, came in. So what happens is every like 2 years, a new dynamics comes in, and a younger set, right? So, like my guy Chuk to say, he no longer codes, he writes proposals. So he said I used to code, but like move and the newer set will come in. That was what happened.
If you don't move to writing proposals, who will be bringing the jobs?
That's how it is.
And I think it has been quite a big one.
It's been an interesting journey.
It's been an interesting journey.
And from what we're looking at currently, we're actually entering the phase in this community where it's no longer about creating talent, but the talent being something, right? So that there are a couple of guys around like, I'm working on this, working on that. This is the first time this is happening. Normally, what you get is, I define job, But, from what the economy looks like, generally, globally, with the layoffs that happened last year. And so a lot of people are now looking inward to say, now is the best time to build. Now is the best time. So we're not getting to that point. And let me tell you something interesting about the community in the past 10 years. We have exported more talents than we can actually retain. That was something that happened last decade, right? We're just making people that are smart and we're leaving town. But now we are conscious about saying, see, we can't just keep churning out talents. Let's see whether some people can stay behind and start building stuff.
Alright, so right now we want to know the achievement that has been made so far. What is the milestone that we have conquered in the ecosystem?
Okay. I think as I was saying, one of the very first things is awareness. I think people are now quite aware of technology, first globally, then locally. And it's cool right now to say a software developer, it's cool to say a graphic designer, it's cool to say UI, UX or whatsoever. Unlike maybe in 2007, that time they see you with a laptop and they ask, what are you really doing? And you say, I'm a software developer. He has a software Guinea, like everybody be looking at you like one kind, like. And as much as they won't stare you in the face, they will go to your back and say something like, "Nah, look at this guy. This guy looks like nah." Or they'll tell you why. And it's not so cool doing at that point what people don't understand. So even when you go and toast a babe. So what do you do? What do you do? I say I'm a software developer.
You don't see you carry laptop from place to place. And many of us are not making money there.
Besides, you are still using leg. That's so like you said, I'm a banker. Or you say I work in oil company. Even if you are using leg.
They feel like there's prospects.
There's prospects. You get clout. But it's not like that now. If you say you're a software developer or you are a UX designer, people understand exactly what you're saying. So that's like on the awareness part. Then as an ecosystem, the Enugu ecosystem has made a whole lot of milestones. Right now, currently, Enugu is the fourth ranked ecosystem in the whole of country.
And you have done this twice.
Last 2 years we were fifth. This year we are fourth. And we are not only fourth. We jumped 463 places in the last ranking done by Startup Blink. And we are ninth regionally.
Yes.
In the whole of the West Africa, Sub-Saharan African region, we are ninth regionally. So it's a huge achievement.
Yes.
It's not like it's not like a small boy thing for out of 36 states in the federation. We are fourth. And I don't think we even stopped for it. I mean,
we're not
one will push you.
We are putting towards one.
We're putting
towards one. It's possible now.
You could even see what when Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, who is the president of the World Trade Organization, was when she was addressing the Igbos in the Igbo Summit. She said Enugu is the boarding space for tech. So you could also see such level of recognition, even from recognized individuals, how much that's had a boost on that. And it is also a big boost understanding that Enugu have every potential to be number one. Because the amount of it, the last time counting the number of tertiary institutions we have here, it should be like 13 plus.
Institution of higher learning.
Institution of higher learning. So you see, these are institutions that are creating and educating talent as fast as possible. So why don't we utilize that? And you can remember that in 2018, the Enugu Tech Ecosystem started what we call the Enugu 1000 Developers Project. And I think it was quite commendable, and we pushed it to the point where Enugu was churning out like 5,000 to 6,000, maybe 3,000 talents every year. We had code jams, we had pink summer of code.
You look at people like Binary, who's having internship programs, Genesis having internship boot camps by Digital Dreams, like everywhere around. Talent just going around. Talent everywhere. And you know, one thing about places of higher learning is there's this community learning that takes place.
Exactly.
So if I learn A, you come like, dude, what did you learn? It's okay, I will teach.
You go buy me jet.
So if you look at what was happening was a lot. We were having these small meetups. The companies were doing internship programs, right? New training institutions were being set up. So what was happening at the same time, everything was happening. I think a lot happened between 18 to 20. Like what happened between 18 to 20 and 21 was just crazy. Because a lot was happening at the same time. And I think what also happened also was when the crypto boom happened, a lot of people got remote jobs. So when you now saw your friends, what do you do? Man, I work in this company. Say, where? Maybe I work in a place in Sweden. Like, wow. So it's possible. And instantly, everyone was like, what did they do? They said they go learn web. How did they take to learn the web? Everybody started. So what was happening is we're not training our talents. And but like we said earlier, what was happening was we're not retaining them. So people come here at school. And you also remember one thing. Most Igbos outside, like in the diaspora, maybe outside the region, they were all bringing their kids back home to learn.
Yeah.
So what immediately you are here, you see your friend carrying a laptop. So what are you doing? I'm doing this. Then boom, he picks that skill. Okay, so generally, the challenges we tend to have in the ecosystem are this societal challenge, right? The ecosystem is not immune from the problem of the society. So what you have generally, like my friend here, colleague here, says.
Who'll be your friend?
My Uganda. Brother Uganda.
It's Nigeria when they want to do scam, they don't say Uganda.
So, you know, he said about the fact that you have issues of discipline and stuff, and it's a general thing, right? The society itself creates this atmosphere, and that is what we are, is a reflection of it. So you have people that are not disciplined, you know, you have infrastructure problem, you have insecurity problem, you have power problem. All this just come together, right? That, and if you look at it, that's why we don't have lots of builders, because why should I build when I can just easily earn salary and get by, right? So to build, you have to have some form of security, both financially, mentally, you know, you have to have a support system and all. So, but what we're looking at, hopefully, these things are going to change, and over time we'll have more builders and people that can walk through these challenges. Yeah.
Okay, so that means going forward in the future, what do you think we should expect in the ecosystem?
You know, you saw one part and you ran away from that. You didn't want to mention it.
Which is
Well, I'll mention it now.
okay.
You know what you're supposed to mention, but you have not mentioned.
I must have missed it.
You know.
I must have missed it. Okay, I think the interaction with government, right?
You know, we need government.
We need
support.
government at this point.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm saying
you that government.
you can't go past a point. There's a part where you go to as a private sector.
Yeah.
You need government to support.
Yeah.
And the government supporting is not just government. It's not when you say government support. How government think is that we are asking government to give money. No, that's not what it is. There's different thing called access.
Yes.
One is access to markets. Two is your policy.
Yes.
Like give you an example. If there's a policy that says that in normal place you need to be able to protect a young fledged ecosystem. So the government should be able to indigenize their policy, have a legislation policy that says that if you have a software solution that is meant to be deployed or being purchased by the government, they should be able to look inwards first and ask, can it be built within the ecosystem?
Yeah.
And if that it can be built within the ecosystem, it should be built within the ecosystem.
Yes.
There are different companies that offer software solutions,
Yeah.
trainings and things like that can be employed by government within the ecosystem to get things done. And even if it can be done within the ecosystem, even if you are getting partners from outside the ecosystem, outside Enugu, you should be able to encourage them to have an office within your state. So if they have an office in Enugu, that means they will employ some people. They can also be able to interact with some other with the talents here, and it improves the whole ecosystem. If they are not having an office, they should be able to partner with a company that is here. These are all things that can make the ecosystem go.
Yeah.
The next is visibility.
Yes.
There are different trade expos, different conferences, different training going out elsewhere, and that government can sponsor people in the ecosystem to attend. Imagine if government says they are doing, if there's maybe, let's say, a Enugu Tech conference being organized by the ecosystem, for instance, and the government says, okay, fine, we are going to put out a call to someone in Microsoft or Amazon for a training in maybe AI for 1 week. With the government call, they can be able to apply that.
Yes.
Then also mentorship. If government is looking at creating a mentorship program for young startups, and be able to link them up with established entrepreneurs, established CEOs in different climes. If there is a mentorship program of touch on, it doesn't take anything from government. Just take a letter or a phone call, and these things can be established as a direct line. So you can mentor entrepreneurs, because in any case, you can't substitute experience.
You can't.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Chukudi. I know you have a whole lot of solutions, things, ideas, and points that we should be looking out for in the future, but we have to end the show at this point because of time. But we hope to have you in our next show where we can talk more about this topic that we just discussed about today. So
maybe next time if I'm coming, you should get me a coffee. A black one.
I'm not from All right. We have come to the end of our show today. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you join us next time. And I want to really appreciate our guests in the studio, Mr. Chukwude Doga and Mr. Gabriel Dochi. Thank you so much for joining. I hope to have you next on the show. So thank you guys and see you next time. Bye.